Today's speaker is Reverend Kim Saporito. Reverend Kim is a spiritualist minister recently ordained through Fellowships of the Spirit, just outside of Lilydale, New York. Please join us in congratulating Kim on accomplishing her goal of becoming a spiritualist minister. Adding to Kim's skill set, she is a tarot reader, certified psychic medium, and Reiki master teacher in Usui Reiki, and an all-around wonderful person.
Thank you.
She assists individuals through energy healing, psychic intuition, and mediumship to gain insight on their life path. As a lifelong teacher and student, she looks forward to journeying with you. Please welcome Kim.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I was asked to do a talk today and decided it would be more fun to tell you all a story. The story of my journey and how I came to embrace being a medium. There are many paths forward, and this is definitely not a one-size-fits-all kind of thing. I was telling my story to another medium and was tickled when they said that hearing my story was helpful to them, and so I am sharing it to you. I started on the healing side of things. The idea is that healers can channel healing energy into a person and affect positive results. I think of it more as holding space for someone so they can work on themselves while being a hollow bone for spirit. That's kind of another way of saying I'm reminding a person of their connection to spirit and allowing them to work on their own healing. Back many moons ago, I know I don't look it, but back many moons ago, I walked into a Reiki class thinking I was taking acupressure at a community college. On the table was a deck of cards with a sign that said, "Pull a card and receive a message." I should have known Spirit was giving me a heads up because the card said we make our own prisons. At the time, I thought it was talking about some of the relationships in my life, but it could just as easily have been speaking to the mental constraints that I had put on myself. Sometimes all it takes is getting out of your own way or getting out of the box that we are stuck in. Even though there were signs in my life, I still hadn't taken any steps forward that the signs pointed to. In the course of this class, the teacher said we are going to attune you, and that is where a Reiki master basically turns on the healing energy in you, or so they say. I think the attunement just reminds us of our connection to spirit and allows us to believe that we can do it, and therefore we do. She said after the attunement we were going to be able to feel things. The skeptic in me went, yeah, right, okay. But I sat there during the attunement. When she blew on the top of my head, I could feel the energy come alive throughout my body, and I'll be darned, I could feel things. Enough so that I came back and did it again and took the second part. After which, not only could I feel things, but energy sensitive beings could feel the things coming off of me. Case in point, I'd go walking in my neighborhood and have cats following me down the street from all the energy leakage that I was letting go into the neighborhood. Not too long after that, I went to a psychic fair to get a reading, and in the next booth over, the reader was listening to me talk about cats. She asked to speak to me before I could walk away and said, "I'm giving a master class and you really should come," and I did. I knew I was an empath and had the ability to feel other people's emotional and mental states. I was also psychic. I knew things that I shouldn't really know and didn't know how I knew them, to the point where I would say things and have people in a sort of accusatory way go, "How did you know that?" Like the time I told someone the color of their unmentionables. Or interacting with the public only to have people unload what was going on in their life to me. One example is the time I was a cashier in my local neighborhood drugstore, and a customer I was working with told me all about her family member who had just died and kept asking me where I could get the best flowers for her grave. As a teenager, I didn't know why that was happening, and I didn't know where to send her to get flowers. Or the boy in high school who said to me, "You're an empath and I would hate for you to lose that." I had these skills, but I didn't really understand them. After many years of working from the healing aspect of things, I started working to develop my psychic side through tools like pendulums and tarot cards. I kept saying to one of my friends, "I can't work these things," meaning the tarot cards, and she said, "You're doing it wrong." Anyone who knows my friend Nancy? You know that's so her. You're doing it wrong. So I finally realized that I should listen to my intuition, and the cards were just a tool leading me down a path and making the path easier. My friend and I also started going to Lilydale on a yearly basis about that time. The first year we went, she said, "Are you going to do something with this stuff? Are you ready to come off the bench?" To which I replied, "No." So I ignored some of my skills for another year until the next year when we came back and she said, "Are you going to do something now?" And that's when I started researching spiritualist churches in Rochester. The catalyst that pushed me forward was a medium at Plymouth Spiritualist Church. Yes, mediums talk to dead people like the little boy in the Bruce Willis movie. He came to me during service and said, "You know that feeling that you get like there's a loose hair on your arm?" He said, "That's not a hair," pointing out that our friends on the other side were reaching out and letting their presence be known. About that time, I noticed that I was having feelings or being touched in the middle of the night, kind of like someone was taking a balloon and passing it over the top of my head. I would sit there and say, "I'm sleeping, not now," or "come back later." It was at this point I took my mediumship study seriously and actively started pursuing something that was already there and had come to me and was just waiting for me to participate. I know some people believe that without a certificate, you aren't actually a thing. I mean, you need a title and verification of who and what you are, right? I do not believe that. I believe you are what you are, and working at it and getting a certificate is just a way of honing your skills. I am a psychic, I am a medium, and I am a healer. As most of you are aware, I really threw myself into my studies and took an intensive 2-year program through Fellowship of the Spirit outside of the gates of Lilydale, where I earned my psychic mediumship certificate and was ordained a minister in the spiritualist faith. Spirit really started showing up for me during that process. When you realize that you're always connected, you just need to acknowledge the fact that you are connected. It's very eye-opening. Case in point, I was getting ready to travel to Lilydale and was getting the message to pick up an extension cord. Here I am thinking, why on earth do I need an extension cord? But I listened and I stopped at Walmart on my way into town. I'm in the aisle with a 6-foot and a 12-foot extension cord in my hands, asking Spirit which one I need. Okay, fine. I'm purchasing the 12-foot. My friend and I did not get our usual room at the Maplewood, the main hotel inside the gates of Lilydale that year, and my bed was across the room from the electrical outlet. I said, "Thank you, Spirit," and in true me fashion, just rearranged the room. I finally used the extension cord this July on the 3rd floor of the Maplewood Hotel, where it was frying hot and the fan would not have reached the window without the extension cord. So again, thank you, Spirit. These skills also come with some fun misunderstandings. So last year, we met some nice ladies who were staying on the 3rd floor of the Maplewood. This hotel has a reputation for having some visitors who have passed. One of the ladies said that a man walked into her room. Now, I'm assuming that she's speaking about a man who had passed, so I didn't think anything of it. The next day, a live man on the front porch was telling us how they gave him a key to an occupied room. He opened the door and a lady was standing there. I looked at my friend and said, "He was alive?" And she said, "Yes, he was alive," with some exasperation. I would have never made that mistake before this journey. I think mediumship is healing, and that using our skills psychically, mediumistically, or through spiritualist healing is the sensitivity to, interpretation, and manipulation of the energy around us. They say all mediums are psychic, but not all psychics are mediums. I think that's just a matter of choice. Energy is the genus, and psychic, medium, and healer is the species. I would like to do a meditation with you all to help us connect to spirit. Is that okay with everybody? Okay. So this is a book by the Reverend Penny Donovan called Healing, Selected Lessons from Archangel Gabriel. So if everybody would either eyes open or closed, it's up to you. Get in a comfortable position. And if we could all take a deep breath together and let it out. Put yourself inside an elevator. The door closes and you feel yourself going up. As you go up, you feel a lightness in your being. It's as though everything of the earth is falling away and you are becoming lighter and lighter. You feel every concern that you have ever had fall away from your mind. Every emotional disturbance is gone from your emotional body. You are becoming light, becoming light, becoming light. And you realize that you are light and that light fills the inside of the elevator. You feel the elevator stop, the doors open, and you step out into the vastness of forever. Around about you is every conceivable scene of beauty and light, and you are a part of that light. You feel yourself going forward. Before you, there stands a figure, glorious, radiant figure, and as you approach, it holds out its arms to you for an embrace, and it embraces you, and as you look up into its face, you see yourself. The radiance and the power of it seems to wrap around you, and you recognize that you are one with it. And as you are enfolded in its embrace, you feel yourself becoming consumed in it, a part of it, until there is nothing that separates the two of you. You have become one. You feel that oneness. You sense it in every part of your being. You feel yourself being drawn back to the elevator. You and your spirit self remain unified together. You step into the elevator, the doors close, and you are still in this great and wondrous light. And you feel the elevator going down, but the light does not diminish. Downward, the light still bright and pulsating. Downward, the light still bright, still filling your being. The elevator stops, and you step off, and you are this beauteous light being. You come over, and you sit back down in your seat, still radiating light. When I count to 3, you will open your eyes, still being radiant light. 1, 2, 3. If everybody'd like to wiggle their fingers and their toes. Does anybody have any questions? Thank you all so much, and thank you for allowing me to serve spirit.